I'm sure we can all agree that the guy hits very hard, but is Deontay Wilder worthy of being considered the biggest puncher in the history of the heavyweight division? A lot of people are forwarding this theory, saying, yep, he definitely does, he's just knocked out another guy with one punch. And maybe that's the case, but while he has a lot of positives to maybe at least push him right up there in the top echelons along with the Shavers and the Foremans, there are some things to say against him as well. Now, in terms of the positives, just looking at the KO percentage, it's very impressive because even great punchers, they don't always usually get rid of absolutely everybody, and it's often guys you wouldn't favour to last the distance who end up surviving the onslaught. Jack Dempsey couldn't get rid of Tommy Gibbons, Joe Louis couldn't get rid of Tommy Farr in his first defence of the World Heavyweight title. George Foreman had problems with that guy Peralta and then stopped him in the rematch. Lennox Lewis, one of the last really great punchers, he couldn't get rid of that Maravich, was that Swiss Baker, that odd fight before the Holyfield ones back in '98. He was hitting that guy with everything and he couldn't get rid of him. So it's not always the obvious opponents that are gonna last the distance. Sometimes it's the lesser heralded ones who have the tricks, the toughness to escape the big knockout. So when you're flattening everybody, and I know Wilder has got a lot of padding to a record, I know he's fought a lot of bums, but when you flatten people to such a degree, it's well in the 90% ratio, that is a sign of a very destructive puncher. The other thing is on video, we can see Wilder knocks people out with one punch. He's done it many times, he just did it again. And a lot of people like to say in the heavyweight division, it's the heavyweight division, you can knock anyone out with one shot, it's the big boys. That is not always the case, otherwise there'd be knockouts all over the place. Yes, heavyweights are naturally bigger, so they're throwing more weight around, but not all of them are one punch guys. Wilder truly is. He has done it before, he's just done it again. It's all in the right hand, there's not much of a left hook, but if he lines it up properly, boy, you are in trouble. Now, an argument against this, against the stats, is the quality of his 10 defences. Many of them weren't in the top 10. He never fought an Andy Ruiz before he became champ, a Joseph Parker, a Dylan White, sturdier, more capable fighters. So while his effectiveness was clearly still there against the guys who he did defend against, they weren't really the cream of the crop. They were lesser fighters, some of them were out of the top 15. So if we're going to be critical here, try and separate the wheat from the chaff, he is not quite as proven there. Ortiz is probably his best opponent, but again, how old is Ortiz? And one of the things that really gets diminished, of course, as a fighter gets older is their punch resistance. How old is this guy? 40? Some people joke that he's near 50. If there's any validity to that, then how much credit do we give Wilder for knocking the old man out? It's up for grabs because I don't know how sturdy or durable Ortiz was in the first place. But yeah, if we're going to truly try and push him up to that level, he certainly seems to be one of the hardest punchers of all time. But I would have to see at least another 10 defences against genuine top 10 guys, against the Ruizes, the Parkers, the tougher guys, and if he can still repeat those results, then fair play, then I might just join in and jump on the bandwagon and say that Wilder is the hardest puncher of all time.